Click the links to join channel over on Subscribestar, Coffee Cash App, while you can before I get asked to leave PayPal, which I'm sure is only a matter of time. The thing is, as Twitter opens up free speech a little bit, the other left-wing sites are becoming even more censorious, sort of in a little bit of retribution. So Eric Weinstein brings up a point, and he's having a conversation with Elon Musk, which a lot of us have been thinking about, of the window shifting, continuing to shift to the left, and people in the middle of the political bell curve reaching this tipping point to see what's going on. And I've been thinking, like, this stuff just, they keep subverting and corrupting and pushing. And I always thought that the line in the sand would be the stuff dealing with kids and the involving kids with a prurient interest, especially with the Balenciaga fashion design company, which had a photo shoot with kids and teddy bears that were in leather and chrome gear themed high-end designer fashion, and they had the kids holding these purses, which were for adult women, presumably, which maybe it's not politically, it's for, I'll say it's adults. I guess some men use purses nowadays. But by no means should you have kids posing with these. Like, it didn't even make sense. The purses are thousands of dollars. It's a fashion company. Fashion purses are like, could be tens of thousands of dollars. So why are kids there? The kids don't want this kind of stuff. And why do you have bondage gear associated with kids? Like, the Young Turks did a video on that, and they were kind of laughing at it and trying to defend it, because they were mad that it gave the right wing ammunition. And even people in their own comment section were like, yeah, it's okay to just say this is not, like, this is an L. I don't know if it's an L for the left side, but again, that's the perception that it is an L for the left side, because the left side is more on board with this, and the right side is looking at this. Like, honestly, I know no left wingers are listening to this, but I mean, I can say this. The best thing for the left wing would be to immediately disavow this kind of stuff, the prurient interest associated with kids, and a lot of the more extreme BLT type of stuff. That's all they have to do, and they won't do that, or they can't do that, or they're scared to do that. So it just this window keeps shifting left and left, and people are seeing what they're doing to kids. And it's like, that's a hill that many people are willing to defend. You see the nice, normal, tolerant people, suddenly their eyes get this red glow, and they're like, yeah, this has got to stop. So he's talking about, like, politics being downstream from culture, which means downstream from social media, where if you control the narrative, which they do, and you control financial institutions, where if you're saying wrong thing, you'll just get kicked off of those financial institutions, and you'll get kicked off social media companies. So it's like, well, you can't get your views out there. Just do it for free. Yeah, but you see the amazing power and control social media networks and financial institutions have to control a narrative. Elon buying Twitter is, like I say, this is a point on the timeline to a civil war and a World War III. And people go, oh, see, he's causing the civil war, the World War III. No, it's just a point on the timeline. It was going to happen one way or another, because the stuff you're doing with kids is they were boiling the frog slowly, and then suddenly they just did too much. They're trying to accelerate things. So Weinstein is talking about the ability of social media networks to control this network. And Weinstein is not a left, or it's difficult to discuss. He has his own identitarian group that he's pushing for, but he's also not a complete leftist in every regard. So he's in a bit of a tricky position. So Elon's referring to the Stay Woke t-shirt that was in the closet of Twitter. It's like, Twitter is a very far left-wing company, and they have such control of the narrative that, as I've been saying for years, is, oh yeah, we should have protected free speech on Twitter. You should be protected from political discrimination from businesses. Yeah, I value individual liberty over billion-dollar businesses. Why wouldn't you? You shouldn't be able to get kicked off of financial institutions or social media sites or Patreon, or it's a private business. Yeah, that's the point, though. It's $1 billion business. I value the individual more than the $1 billion business. So Elon is talking about the censorship and the ability to control the narrative. Says it's been really bad. The far left wing views have been propagated to the world via Twitter for a long time. And Twitter's trying to establish a rapid playing field, no more thumb on the scale. And they call him far right. And you look at him, it's like, I just don't see facts and evidence to support him being far right. So this Rock Princess 818 makes a comment that I've been thinking about before, at least with the tipping point. She says, I think we may be arriving at the part where the left finds out, so to speak. She's referring to the meme that says F around, mess around, and you will find out. It started with, I think, Rittenhouse. It was like 2 or 3 years ago when he was attacked by Rosenbaum, a guy who struggle snuggled kids, and the left wing decided to go to bat for Rosenbaum. It's like I look at that, like you just take the L on this one. Anyway, so a Russian philosopher whose name I can't pronounce said there's a point in every society in which the normal everyday people who are not extreme reach a point where they will no longer tolerate this type of insanity. And the guy below him was talking about this concept of if the right has free speech, the right wins. I've said this for a long time. The left wing will censor and deplatform because they're terrified of the open marketplace of ideas because they have bad ideas that cannot be defended. If you know you have good ideas, you want to disseminate them. You want open comment sections. You want a platform where people can politely and reasonably talk back and forth. The left wing can't allow that because they have bad ideas that have historically failed. Now, I mean, it's more complicated than that. But if Elon buying Twitter to allow a little bit of an even playing field is gonna, like, politics is downstream from culture. The left wing knows how powerful Twitter is. They had absolute control of it. They still have control of the financial institutions. If you get big and you get a voice, you will get deplatformed off all those financial institutions, and that has to change too. And it's like getting representatives to change that is a big deal. But the left wing is so terrified of Elon buying Twitter because they know how powerful it was, and it will become a little bit more fair. It's like people on the right are still getting kicked off left and right. Like it's not going to be Gab or 4chan. And they, like you say, oh yeah, it's not like he's not some right wing guy. He just wants a little bit more balance to Twitter, where you enforce the rules against the left wing, and you go. So you got criminal organizations like Antifa and BLM who are advocating violence, and doxing against people and threats against people, and now they're getting kicked off, and suddenly they have to go to Mastodon, all these alt platforms. It's like all they have to do is obey the rules of Twitter, and he'll apply that. He'll apply that. The terms of service equally. It's like, yeah, but the left doesn't want that because the left wanted Twitter for themselves. That's why, honestly, I'm kind of surprised. It's Kanye didn't Epstein himself. Well, Elon didn't Epstein himself either, but I'm sure those guys have the best security in the world. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.